CM 365, all about Carnatic music.
It is interesting to see how, when the Ramayana was written by Valmiki, the music was actually fairly developed. This we come to know through the various references in the work in terms of the occasions in which music was played or sung, in terms of the musical instruments, their categorization, and many such interesting details are provided in the Ramayana. The Marga system of music was actually prevalent then, and many of the musical concepts also seem to have been well in place. The singing of well-known poetry in public appeared to be a standard kind of a practice. Group singing, instruments as accompaniment were popular, and music was an essential part of both the social as well as personal life. Ramayana is closely associated with music, and there are innumerable references about this. In fact, there are, if you go through the work, you see that there are so many instances of Rama, Hanuman, Sita, and so many others, even Ravana. Their association with music through various instances make for very interesting reading. Music was played as an entertainment and in celebration at the weddings and other auspicious occasions. Music was played in the palaces as well. Soulful songs were sung to accompaniment of instruments at religious services. Music was played in festivities to welcome the guests and even to send them off. The warriors fighting on the battlefield were cheered by drum beats and piercing blow of corns, horn, and trumpets. There is also mention of those who took to music as a profession, and of course, last but not the least, the music was patronized much by the king, and the court musicians were also there, who were actually given and taken care of much by the king himself. There are numerous events, as I mentioned earlier also, in Ramayana where music was sung or played. Now here we see the mention of the word Sangeetha, but here it is, now today Sangeetha means only the musical aspect, but earlier in this Ramayana, the Sangeetha is a composite word, I would say. It conveys the meaning of taking or rather encompassing the Gana, Vadya and Nritta, that is vocal music, instrumental music and dance. All the three together was known as Sangeetha. Describing the glory of beauty of Ayodhya, it is said the city, resounding with the rhythmic drum beats of Dundubi, Mridanga and Panava, with the melodious tunes of the string instruments like the Veena, the city is indeed was unique and undoubtedly the best city on earth, because of the fact that music pervaded in every aspect of their life, that is, be it social life, be it the cultural events, be it any personal aspect. For everything we see that music played a very, very important role, and that's why it's also said that this place, that is the city of Ayodhya, indeed was unique and undoubtedly the best city on earth. The Valmiki Ramayana again mentions various musical instruments, and the categorization also is very interesting here. Basically he categorizes them as Hastavadya and Mukhavadya. Hastavadya obviously implies the instruments which are played with the help of the hand, that is with the hand, the fingers, etc. And Mukhavadya means those instruments played with the help of the mouth. In the Veena, he gives two types of Veena, Vipanchee and Vallaki. And there is a detailed description of all this also. As for the percussion instruments, there are so many instruments that are mentioned here, and there is also a description given for what these instruments were actually all about. The instruments mentioned here are Mridanga, Panava, Ataha, Madduka, Dundhubi, Dindima, Muraja, Adambara Bheri, Pataha. And Gargara was another drum used during wars. There is also mention of another peculiar instrument called the Bhumi Dunduvi, where the lower part was buried in a huge pit, while the exposed upper part, covered with the animal hide skin actually, was beaten with big sized sticks. It may be wooden or metal strings, but the whole thing was that the instrument itself was buried beneath the earth, and only the leather portion, that is the skin portion on top, was exposed, and that used to be played. This was played during the battle actually, to arouse warriors, to celebrate victory, or in the case of emergency. Mukavadyas, for this also there are mention of some of the instruments in this category like Venu, Shankha, Tundava, then Shinga, then Ramabheri. Like this we see that if we look at the Ramayana, of course one is the story content for its philosophical, moral values and the other things. But it also offers interesting study from the fact of music, from the angle of music, where there is so many mention of so many instances where music was a part of the scenario, and also this categorization of instruments and other things offer interesting study. So this is also another interesting perspective probably through which we could look at the Ramayana.
CM 365, all about Carnatic music.